Have you ever wondered what it really means to completely let go? Today, we're diving into this really profound and honestly beautiful concept called Prapatti. It's the art of total, unconditional surrender. And we're going to see how this incredible idea comes to life, not through some dense philosophy, but through the amazing language of devotional poetry.
So, at its very core, what is Prapatti? Well, think of it as an act of absolute trust. It's that moment you consciously decide to place yourself entirely in the care of the divine, letting go of all that need for control and just depending completely on a higher power for your shelter and your protection. And to really wrap our heads around this, we're going to use a specific guide, a roadmap, if you will. It's the sacred hymn Sri Venkatesha Prapatti. This gorgeous poem, dedicated to Lord Venkatesha of Tirumala, is going to be our lens into the very heart of what surrender is all about. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Where is all this surrender directed? Well, it's not to some vague, abstract idea of the divine. No, the hymn focuses with this incredible intensity on the Lord's feet, what are known as the Thiruvadigals in Tamil, as the ultimate symbol of refuge. You see, this is the hymn's whole strategy. And it's brilliant. It builds this powerful, poetic argument for surrender by showing us exactly why these divine feet are so perfect, so transcendent, that choosing them as your shelter becomes the only logical, fulfilling choice you could possibly make. Okay, so let's see this in action with our first example from the poem. The hymn starts to explore the divine nature of the feet by taking something we all find beautiful, a fragrant flower, and it completely turns our understanding of it on its head. Just think about this for a second. It's such a simple question, right? We all associate fragrance with flowers, and we offer those beautiful, fragrant flowers in worship. But what if that whole logic is completely backwards? So the hymn presents this stunning reversal. It argues that the flowers we offer, they don't just add their scent to the divine, they actually get their scent from the divine feet in the first place. Get this, the feet aren't just fragrant. They are the literal origin of fragrance itself. And that right there perfectly illustrates the hymn's point. The feet are presented as a reality that just completely transcends our world. They aren't just one beautiful thing among many other beautiful things. They are the source from which all earthly beauty and perfection actually flows. Let's keep building on this idea of transcendence with another really powerful image from the hymn. So, we've established that the feet are the source of all fragrance. Now the poetry moves on from smell to touch, to softness. I mean, in both poetry and in nature, the lotus petal is pretty much the ultimate benchmark for softness and purity, right? It's the gold standard that everything else gets measured against. But the hymn wants us to consider something far, far greater. This whole idea is explained through this fantastic little story. Imagine a celestial contest, right? The lotus flower, totally confident in its own perfection, challenges the Lord's feet to a competition of beauty, fragrance, and softness. Well, in every single category, the divine feet are the clear winner. And the consequence for losing? The defeated has to carry the victor. And that is why the lotus eternally serves as the Lord's throne, the Asana Padma, or the lotus seat, forever holding up the very feet that proved to be so much better. So you see, this is why the hymn says that even comparing the Lord's feet to a lotus is kind of an injustice. It calls it a crude understatement, because the feet possess a softness so absolute that our highest earthly standard, that beautiful lotus, just pales in comparison. Okay, so how does this all come together? Through these powerful poetic images, the hymn builds this unshakable case. Surrender isn't just some act of blind faith. It's actually a logical response to an undeniable, transcendent perfection. Ultimately, what you need to understand is that Prapatti is not surrender to something that is merely good or beautiful. No, it is surrender to a reality that is the absolute source of all the goodness and beauty we can even think of. A perfection so complete that the hymn says it feels new and fresh every single time you look at it. So after laying out this whole poetic foundation, the hymn finally arrives at its core declaration. This is the act of Prapatti itself, expressed in this line, Sri Venkatesa Saranam Prapadye. It means, I surrender to the feet of Sri Venkatesa. It's a statement that's not coming from a place of blind faith, but from a deep, deep understanding of the perfection that you're surrendering to. And this leaves us with a final thought to chew on. If the real basis for surrender is a perfection so absolute that our highest ideals here on earth are just pale reflections, what does that teach us about the nature of faith? Maybe it suggests that the deepest form of trust isn't about finding parallels in our world, but it's about recognizing and then surrendering to something that is beautifully and completely beyond it.